Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, drone pilots, wherever you are, whenever you are. In this video, we'll be showing you how to make a Wi-Fi hotspot out of your Raspberry Pi if it cannot connect to the local Wi-Fi network, so that you can still connect your Raspberry Pi even if you don't have a monitor or a keyboard. For example, when the drone is out in the field and you want to log into the drone and you don't have Wi-Fi connected to it. So the instructions for this video are in advanced topics on the Canvas page. And let's pull them up. How to make a Raspberry Pi hotspot. So basically, let's say you have your drone ready, you have the Raspberry Pi connected to your drone, everything's working, but now you go out in the middle of the desert and there's no internet access, but you still want to log into your Raspberry Pi to control your drone. So Raspberry Pi will make a hotspot for you if it can't connect to any network that it's programmed to connect to. So it's pretty simple. We want to install the Raspbian on your Raspberry Pi in SSHN. So we did this in the last video. So let's SSHN, assuming we're on the local Wi-Fi network. And now we want to configure it where if you take it out of your house or dorm or apartment and it cannot connect to the pre-programmed Wi-Fi network, that it creates its own hotspot. So I couldn't find anything on the Raspberry Pi website where it would do this. You get either or, so I wrote my own script to put it on GitHub. And basically it's a shell script in Bash that checks the Wi-Fi. If you're not connected, then it creates a hotspot. And then there's a systemd service that runs at boot so that it checks it only at boot. So the instructions are here. It's very simple. First, we SSH into the Raspberry Pi, which we just did. Then we want to download this script that I wrote, checkwifi.sh. We want to download that to our Raspberry Pi, and then we want to make it executable. So it's very easy. Click on that. You copy the command, go to the terminal, paste it in, hit enter. And now we've downloaded that short shell script from GitHub to our Raspberry Pi and made it executable. We also want to get the service files. That's what's going to run automatically at startup. So we copy that command, paste it. It's check_wifi.service. That's what's going to tell it to run check Wi-Fi on boot. So we run that. Now we need to edit the shell script. So you can use whatever text editor you want. Nano comes automatically installed. So we want to edit that shell script. And this is a text file, and you need to tell it what your desired SSID is. I have it up to 3. You can edit this as you want. So we're on, it's pre-programmed, but you have to tell it in this particular script file. So this is the SSID that it will look for, TP-link_FT78. And then if it doesn't find that one, or network 2 or network 3, and cannot connect, then it creates its own hotspot. So we'll call this EESS185 demo hotspot. And we'll call the password EESS195 fall. Let's call it F24. So let me write that down. EESS195F24. So that will be the password for the Wi-Fi hotspot if it cannot connect to TP_link, which is my home password. So my home network. I'm not telling you my home network password. Please don't try to hack me. So we will Control X to exit Nano, and we will hit Y to save the modified buffer. and then it says file name to write. It's the default when we hit enter. There we go. So now we've changed that script. It's not running the script yet. So we have to tell it using system control this command, which tells it next time you boot, run this service called check_wifi.service. So when it boots, it'll run that service, and that service will run the shell script check_wifi.sh after everything's been initialized. And if it is able to connect to the local Wi-Fi network that you pre-programmed it to, it'll stay there. But if it can't connect, then it'll create its own hotspot. So then we have to reboot it, which will reboot it. Now, I already know that that hotspot is going to work, but let's prove it. I'm going to sudo reboot now. And now it takes about 30 seconds for this Raspberry Pi 2W to boot. So I'll pause this and come back in 30 seconds. Okay, it's been 30 seconds and it's rebooted, and you can see I'm still on my local network, TP-Link. So I should still be able to get to it. And sure enough, there I can. Now, to demonstrate that it will create its own Wi-Fi hotspot, I'm going to edit this file again. And I'm just going to call it desired SSID wrong. That means it's not going to find it. So I'll Control X that. Save modified buffer, yes. File name to write, check Wi-Fi. Enter. So now when I reboot it, it's going to look for the wrong hotspot, and it won't connect, and it'll create its own Wi-Fi hotspot. So I'm going to hit reboot, and then like I said, it takes 30 seconds to boot, so I'm going to pause the video and come back in 30 seconds. Okay, it's been 30 seconds. Presumably, the Raspberry Pi has completely rebooted now, but it did not connect to my home Wi-Fi router because I gave it the wrong name. So let's see if I can, let's confirm it. I'm still on my home Wi-Fi router, TP-Link. So if I try to SSH into the Pi, it's not going to work because it was trying to connect to the wrong SSID. Instead, it created its own hotspot. So we should be able to find that here. There it is, EECS 195 demo hotspot. So I can connect to that. I have to write down the super secure password that I created. Uh-oh, I don't want the pin. I want the security key, this password, the super secret password, ECS. And hopefully it will connect. Now, Windows will complain because it's only a local area network. There's no connection to the outside world. And Windows doesn't like that. So it'll take a moment for Windows to calm down. All right, now it's calmed down. It says no internet, but we're still connected. So the question is, what is the IP address? And the answer is 10.42.0.1. That's what it's configured to do. So we want to SSH into that. That's 10.42.0.1 is now the Raspberry Pi's IP address on this hotspot, and it's still the same username. There we go. And we're on the Raspberry Pi through the local Wi-Fi network, but we're only on a local network. We're not connected to the internet, so it's just a local area network. So that's the Wi-Fi hotspot. Now, just to make sure it works, I'm going to go ahead and go back and tell it to look for the correct SSID. Control X, save yes, enter for the name. sudo reboot now and wait 30 seconds. Okay, it's been 30 seconds. The Raspberry Pi has rebooted, and presumably it's connected. There's no longer a hotspot. So I'm going to connect to my home network, which the Raspberry Pi should be connected to. And it's been 30 seconds, so we should be able to connect to it. There it is. Okay, so that's how you configure your Raspberry Pi to connect to the local network if it's available. If it's not available and can't be found, it creates its own hotspot so that you can still get into the Raspberry Pi. And I'll see you in the next video.